He's a guy that will do anything it takes to win the game. That's the kind of players that Dan Campbell should want to coach and want to represent the Detroit Lions. This is one of those moves that can have our fan base like, oh, the Lions are serious. Go get him. Make it happen. Bring him here.
Deebo Samuel.
Get him.
It's been a progressive story. We talked about it earlier. That was our lead-off topic because it was the biggest thing. It's trending on Twitter right now. Deebo Samuel, he made his stance clear. He is frustrated with the 49ers, so frustrated. And it seems that he wants to play elsewhere. That was a tweet from 7 p.m. last night. Well, as of about 2 hours ago, he has officially demanded a trade from the San Francisco 49ers.
Let him go.
And then about an hour ago, a tweet came out from Rappaport saying 4 teams are at the top of the list. One of them happens to be Honolulu Blue and Silver, and that is the Detroit Lions. Braylon, you and I talked about this for about 15 minutes to start off the show. I'd be excited to see him in a Lions uniform. You had some great takes on why. What would be the first thing that would stand out for you, and what do you think it would help immediately with?
When I saw Deebo with last year's, Deebo was willing to do anything that the 49ers asked of him, whether it was rush the ball, whether it was punt return, kick return, whether it was go play wide out. Hey, you know what? We need you sub in a quarterback this play. Jimmy G nor Trey Lance. Like, he did it with a smile on his face, and he did it with infectious energy. His energy infected them against Dallas. Now, I know Dallas blew that game. They wouldn't have been in that game if it wasn't for Deebo Samuel. He was infectious, and even look at the Green Bay game. I know it was a very low-scoring game. You have to look at special teams as the reason why Green Bay left. Who also balled in that game? Here's Deebo Samuel yet again. He's a guy that will do anything it takes to win the game. That's the kind of players that Dan Campbell should want to coach and want to represent the Detroit Lions. And just looking at the teams that we're going against, if I'm Deebo Samuel, I'm looking at Green Bay, no owner, and I'm tired of Aaron Rodgers.
Right. You never know when he's going to leave.
He's great, but he's not going to be here. But then you're going to be worried about him. I don't want to go deal with that situation. You go to the Jets. I know a lot about the Jets. They're a similar regime to the Detroit Lions. However, we might be on the regime that has an answer, that has it figured out. I tell you this, the New York Jets and Robert Salah, they don't. So don't go waste your time up there with the Jets and in Kansas City. They got 2 stars, and one of them is making all the money, which means when your next contract comes up, when you go to get paid in 2023, guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to be getting paid by them. So just looking at that, Detroit's a good situation for him, and they're moving in the right direction. And now is the time for Detroit. Get your fan base involved.
Right.
You really want to endear yourself to your fans. This is one of those moves that can have fan bases like, not fan bases, our fan base like, oh, the Lions are serious. Sheila Hamp does get it. Dan Campbell does get it. Brad Holmes is exactly what we thought and who we thought he was. Go get him. Make it happen. Bring him here. He is a player that immediately makes you a contender.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I was just going to say. It expedites that growth process.
Yeah.
You know, we're thinking we're a year or 2 out from being contenders. And then you start to look at the offense, and you ran it down earlier. You know, you have DJ Chark, your down-the-field threat, your guy that stretches the lid off the defense. Then you got your Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is going to work the middle and never drop a pass because that's what he does. Then you have Quintez Cephas, so another great possession wide receiver, and that'll be your 4th guy because Deebo is going to be probably your number 2.
Pro Bowl tight end.
And you have your Pro Bowl tight end, plus your arguably top 5 offensive line. You draft a quarterback with number 2. Now you're giving a rookie quarterback immense amount of weapons. You're making him comfortable. I mean,
I like how you tried to slide that draft the quarterback at number 2 in there. I heard that.
You know, like I
saw you try to slide that in.
I'm thinking big picture because if you want to draft that quarterback at number 2, yes, you could sit behind Goff for a year, and yes, we can wait to get him weapons and hope that evolves. Or you take a guy that's on his rookie contract, and then you tell Deebo Samuel, look, we got a quarterback on his rookie contract for 5 years. We got enough money to pay you down the road. To me, it's all just kind of falling in place for the Lions. And when we put out earlier what you would give up, I suggested the 32 and the 34. It's a first round and a second round. And nobody in the chat tore my head off, which to me says that it's kind of reasonable. Right. Normally it's like, you're an idiot. No way would we give up that. But everybody seems to be on board with Deebo Samuel.
I'm telling you, you need to be on board with that. This is somebody to be on board for. I've given you all the reasons. Stick is giving you all the reasons, too. It's a really good situation, really good setup. The only thing be interesting, too, is you don't even have to tell him that, oh, we'll draft Malik Willis and we'll be on a rookie deal unless he wants to be with Malik Willis because guess what? Next year, you might draft a quarterback. Or if it's not this year, you're going to draft it next year. So regardless, they won't be spending any money at quarterback.
And maybe Deebo likes golf. We don't know. He just played with Jimmy G. It's not like, he came from playing with the best quarterback in the league. Golf and Jimmy G are comparable.
And I'm also of the mind, and this is my optimism creeping in. I've been hanging around Ryan Hermione too long. My optimism is creeping in on this. Jared Goff, when did he have success? He had success when he had a good offensive line with the Rams. When they brought in Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was tearing it up in the league. Guess what school Todd Gurley went to? Same school as DeAndre Swift. Similar type of running back when they were in college. Lions have a good offensive line. Lions now have some weapons at wide receiver. Now they have T.J. Hockenson. Now they got a quarterback in Jared Goff that's like, oh, you know what? I actually remember what it's like to perform with a similar situation when it was consistent, when it was good, when I saw the same thing, when I started believing it. Maybe his passes get a little tighter this year. Maybe he doesn't turn the ball over so much. Maybe he doesn't have such small hands when he has better amount of consistency around him.
His hands are just going to grow.
Hey, they might magically grow. I'm saying put all your eggs in Jared Goff's basket this year.
What about this comment from John Robinson on our YouTube chat? He said, Deebo won't make our defense better. I can argue that he could. Because what he's doing is he's alleviating pressure. More first downs, the longer you're on the field, the less your defense has to extenuate themselves. So, yes, in theory, he's not on the field of defense making it better, but he could also be keeping your defense from having to put forth so much effort every single game just by picking up an extra first down here or there.
He picked up 45 first downs last year.
That helps.
He picked up 45 first downs last year. You know what that tells me? He's extending drives, which is keeping the defense off the field, which is allowing them to rest, which is shortening the field for the defense when they eventually do get on the field. You still have the number 2 pick overall. I didn't say draft Malik Willis. That wasn't me. I'm going with Kayvon Thibodeau. That's a defensive player. That's a premier defensive rush in at the number 2 pick. There's your defense. You draft him at 32. You give him a second-round pick next year. Bob's your uncle. Now you have 34. To draft another defensive lineman or a safety. You see Lewis Sign is still going to be floating out there from Georgia. So you still can have some defensive players drafted in that 2 spot and that 34 spot. But I'm saying that 32 spot, hey, 49ers, y'all can have that, and you can have my second-round pick next year.
The Lions getting Deebo would massively change our approach in the draft. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I like Deebo, but the hell with all of that. So Deshaun is not a big fan of it. Really?
Why?
Lots of people here. Go get Deebo. It's not that hard, is what
Thank
Brees
you.
says. And I'm with that. Let's be aggressive. Imagine going into draft day with already Deebo Samuel in your pocket.
It's a whole nother thought process.
You won.
Because right now the thought process of the Detroit Lions is, oh, man, could Malik Willis be this futuristic quarterback that we're thinking, that other people are talking about, that we've seen be the new quarterback to be the lead? Could Deebo Samuel be that? If Aiden Hutchinson slips to us at the number 2 pick, do we take Aiden? He's been down the street. We've watched him all season. We watched him at the Combine. Kayvon Thibodeau, we've been talking about him. He's the guy. He's the premier rusher. Kyle Hamilton, he's a safety. What do we do about Kyle Hamilton? That's what the Detroit Lions are doing now. At least that's what we think they're doing. You get not to mention we need a wide receiver. Is there any way that Jahan Dotson or Chris Olave will slip to us at 32? Is there a potential chance to get Christian Watson or Treylon Burks at 34? These are all the questions going on right now. You kill yourself. Just get Deebo Samuel right now. 32 pick, done, over with. Now you got a wide receiver. Now you got a guy that can make some plays, extend some drives, and be a multi-purpose player. The more you can do, the more valuable you are. And Deebo Samuel can do a lot.
He would be immediately one of the favorite athletes in Detroit on all sports.
I would say,
up there with Cade.
I would say he'd be 2. Because everyone loves Cade. This is Cade City right now.
Right.
So I would put him immediately at 2.
And that's huge, man.
It's major.
That's huge for selling tickets. It's huge for jersey sales. It just makes sense on every single level. So Lions, let's make it happen. Dan Campbell, be aggressive. Go bite some kneecaps.
Remember how much the Detroit Lions loved and liked, what's his name? Anquan Bolden.
Oh, yeah.
And Anquan came here at the end.
Yep.
So imagine having Anquan Bolden in 03 with Arizona Cardinals, but faster. That's what you're getting with Deebo Samuel.
We could have drafted Anquan Bolden, but we took.
And guess what happened that first game he played?
He whooped that ass.
200 yards. I was at that game.
Yeah, I watched it on TV.
That was my.
I was like, we could have had this guy later in the draft. What are we doing here?
That was my. I want to say that was my junior. That was going into my senior year.
Well,
That was going to my junior year. That was 03.
we'll keep you up to date with all the Deebo Samuel news right here at Woodward Sports.